Salvete. Here we are doing Capitulum Primum, the first chapter that is entitled Imperium Romanum. In English, we would say the Roman Empire. Latine in Latin, Imperium Romanum. Imperium Romanum est. Imperium Romanum magnum est. It's large. Ecce Italia. Italia in Europa est. Notice that long A on Europa. That's ablative place where. I like to do this little hand signal for it. In Europa est. Estne Italia in Europa? Estne? And we have this little NE here. Ne. This is called an enclitic particle. And a particle is something that doesn't quite translate to any specific word in English. The Romans would not have understood a question mark the way that we use it. So this ne is used to ask a question whose answer is either yes or no. Okay, so is Italy in Europe? Ita, yes, out, or minime, no. So we're just saying yes or no. Is Italy in Europe? Ita, yes, ita. Italia in Europa est. And again, notice that long A, Europa est. You really say it in Latin, in Europa, instead of in Europa. But I kind of like when we're learning the ablative case, to kind of comically hold that long A for a long time, just to get us used to using that long A vowel. In Europa est. Ecce Aegyptus, Egypt. Esne, yes or no? Esne Aegyptus in Europa? Ita? Aut minime. Esne Aegyptus in Europa? Minime. Aegyptus in Europa non est. Ubi? Ubi est Aegyptus. Ubi, remember, is where. Where is Egypt? Ubi est Aegyptus? Aegyptus in Africa est. And you can see here that North Africa was actually part of the Roman Empire, as was the Middle East. It really stretched all the way from Spain to Syria in the Middle East, to North Africa, all the way up to Britain. Ireland was never conquered by the Romans, though, so that's a fun fact. Ecce Gallia, we would call Gallia today most of modern day France and some other countries like Belgium. So even expanding into maybe Germany. So Ecce Gallia, we can think of this as France. Gallia. Esne? Esne, yes or no? Esne Gallia in Asia? Ita aut minime. Minime. Ubi est Gallia? Ubi est Gallia? Where is Gaul? Gallia in Europa est. Ubi est Roma? Roma quoque in Europa est. Quoque, remember, also. Gallia est in Europa. Roma quoque est in Europa. Ubi est Hispania? We would call this Spain. Ubi est Hispania? Hispania quoque in Europa est. Ubi sunt Hispania et Gallia. Here now we're using sunt instead of est because we have a compound subject. So when we're using something that's plural, like Hispania and Gallia, Spain and Gaul, we want our verb to also be plural. So instead of est, we're using sunt that has that nt, third person plural ending. So ubi sunt Hispania et Gallia, Hispania et Gallia sunt in Europa. One trick is when you're answering a question to repeat everything that's in the sentence except for the question word. So you could say Gallia et Hispania sunt, and then you have to answer ubi in Europa. Hispania et Gallia in Europa sunt in Europa. So the word order doesn't really matter here. You can have sunt either before or after in Europa. You could even have it at the beginning. Ubi sunt Arabia et Syria. Syria, Surya, this is technically the Y here is the Greek letter upsilon. So Surya is how you should pronounce this if you're using the correct Greek pronunciation. We usually just say Syria, and that's fine too, but technically it's Surya. So ubi sunt Arabia et Syria. Sunt in Asia. And the Romans thought of this not, you know, they wouldn't have called Asia. This is not where China and Japan, countries like that are. Asia was Asia Minor. So it's, you know, the modern day Turkey and Anatolia, the Balkan Peninsula, the Dardanelles. This area was called Asia or Asia Minor. Ecce insula et oppidum et fluvium. Insula et oppidum et fluvius, sorry. Insula et oppidum et fluvius sunt. On my screen, by the way, I have the mirror image so that I can point. So I'm reading all this text completely backwards, mirrored imaged. So sorry that I'm making some mistakes. So, you know, what are we saying here? We're saying this is an island and a town and a river. Remember that there are no articles in Latin. A and the, a and the are articles in English. So we have to supply those. You know, you can kind of play around with the meaning of this. It's very clear what it means in Latin. Insula et oppidum et fluvius sunt. How do we translate this in English? Do we want to say these are a river and a town and an island? Or do we want to say, like, you know, something else? I'd say these are would probably be good. Esne fluvius? Esne fluvius hic? Fluvius? Minime non est. Est insula. Esne insula hic? Here, hic? With a long I is hic, here. Hic with a short I means like this one or this man or this thing that's masculine. Esne insula, is it an island? Minime. Non est insula, est oppidum, or you could say oppidum est. Quid est. Remember, it's mirror imaged for me. Quid est. Quid is the neuter relative pronoun. So what is it, or what is this? Quid est. Est insula, nonne? Or insula est. Esne oppidum, esne, esne, ita aut minime. So that, remember that ne enclitic particle attaches to the end of the verb, est, and it's just saying yes or no. Esne oppidum, is it a town? Minime, est fluvius. Quid est? Est fluvius. Fluvius est, it's a river. Quid est? Est insula. Quid est? Est fluvius. Quid est Britannia? Quid est Britannia? Britannia est insula, nonne? Britannia est insula. Britain is an island. Esne Hispania insula? Aqua et aqua et aqua sed non aqua est, ergo minime non est insula, est peninsula, nonne? Nonne means like, right? Yeah, isn't it? And pine, remember, in Latin means almost, so it's a peninsula, an almost island. Esne Sicilia insula? Ita, Sicilia insula est. Sicily is an island. Esne Graecia insula? Minime non est insula. There are many islands, insulae, in the Aegean Sea, but Graecia I wouldn't call an island by itself. Lectio secunda, the second lecture part of the chapter. Oppidum Romanum est. So remember, Romanus, Romana, Romanum is an adjective. It can be used adjectively. This is where it has an N in it. Roma is the city, Rome. Romanum means Roman. So, you know, it is, or this is, a Roman town. Duo oppida romana sunt. Here we have our plural verb sunt, which means that these must also be plural. Duo, duai, duo are the, it's always plural because it means two. Duo is masculine, duai, feminine, duo, neuter. You only add endings to the numbers 1, 2, and 3 in Latin. So this is one of them, and this happens to be the neuter nominative plural form. Oppidum, oppidi is second declension neuter. So that's why we have this A ending. I, o in the singular. A, orum, is, a, is in the plural. So this is our neuter nominative plural ending. Romana, the adjective, is agreeing in gender. They're both neuter. Case, they're both nominative. And number, they're both plural here. So duo oppida romana sunt. These are two Roman towns that we see. Here's one, and here's the other. Unum oppidum et nunc duo oppida. Oppidum parum est. It's a small town. Oppidum magnum est. Magnum or magnum est. Esne oppidum parum. Esne oppidum parum minime non est magnum. Esne oppidum magnum minime est parum. Est parum. Esne oppidum parum aut magnum. Aut means or. In this form of the word or, out means it can be one or can be the other. If I asked you, do you have a brother or a sister? Do you have brothers or sisters? In Latin, I would actually want to use the word well, V-E-L, because that could mean that you could have both brothers and sisters. If I say, do you have brothers or sisters? And I mean that you can only have brothers or you can only have sisters, I would use this word out. So it's one or the other. It can't be both, like the word well. So that's kind of a fun distinction. So is the town parum, small, aut magnum, large? It can't be both. It can be one or the other, so we use the word out. Esne insula magna? Minime, I don't see any houses or, shopping centers or anything like that. It looks like a pretty small island. Est insula parva. And again, remember that our adjective magna agrees with the noun it modifies, insula, in three things. Gender, they're both feminine. Case, they're both nominative, since we have a linking verb here. And they're both singular. Esne oppidum? Minime, nope. Quid est? Est fluvius, it's a river. Est fluvius magnus aut parvus? I would call this parvus. It's not, a big river like the Nile River. Fluvius parvus est. And remember, fluvius is second declension masculine, us, I, o, I, orum, is, os, is. So we want the adjective to agree with it in gender, case, and number. Masculine, nominative, because there's a linking verb, and singular. Esne fluvius magnus, minime est parvus, Esne parvus fluvius, est fluvius Nilos. This is the Nile River, actually. Est parvus, minime est fluvius Nilos. Et magnum est. It's a very large river. Ubi est fluvius Nilos. Ubi est. Where is it? Est in Africa, nonne? Est in Egypto est. It's in Africa, it's in Egypt. Ooh. Imperium Romanum. I can't see. Imperium, oops. In Imperio Romanum sunt multi fluvii. So in Imperio Romanum, in the Roman Empire, sunt, there are multi fluvii. Because we have sunt here, we need the plural nominative, fluvius, remember we said was second declension masculine, usi omo, in the plural, I, orum, is, os, is. There's our nominative plural ending. Our adjective and our noun are agreeing in gender, case, and number. So there are many rivers in the Roman Empire, or in the Roman Empire, there are many rivers. Yeah, we can see a lot of them. Oh, I'm in the wrong place for this. I'll go to the other side of the screen. Quote fluvii sunt. in Europa. Quote, how many? Quote flui sunt in Europa. And I'm not asking you to give me a specific number, just multi aut pauci. Multi, a lot. Pauci, not very many. There's the word paucity in English. It means a lack of, a small amount of. Sunt ne multi aut pauci flui in Africa. In Africa, non sunt multi flui. There aren't a lot. Sunt pauci flui in Africa. Imperium Romanum est. Here's just a different map. Aquitania est provincia Romana. Aquitania, it's a region of near Spain. Aquitania est provincia Romana. Baetica quoque est provincia Baetica. Baetica et Aquitania sunt provincia Romanae. Baetica et Aquitania provinciae Romanae sunt. So here we have sunt again, and we have, since provincia is a first declension feminine noun, I, arm, is, as is, we're using the nominative feminine plural ending here of the first declension. They are Roman provinces. Ubi est provincia Lusitania. Lusitania est in Hispania, nonne, est in Hispania. Lectio tertia, the third lecture or section. Here are some Roman numbers. Ecce numeri Romani, Roman numbers. Numerus is the singular, so it's second declension masculine. Numeri Romani, this is nominative plural. Unus, duo, tres. And as I mentioned before, the numbers 1, 2, and 3, you can actually add endings to those and decline them. So unus, it acts just like a first and second declension adjectives. Duo, duai, duo. We'll talk more about those other endings later. Tres, tres for the masculine and feminine. And tria is the nominative neuter form. Since these are plural, they only exist in the plural. There are no singular forms as there are for unus. Esne unus, numerus magnus aut parvus. Just parvus, nonne, it's a small number. Esne viginti, viginti, XX, 10 and 10, that makes 20, viginti. Esne numerus magnus aut parvus. Non est magnus, it's not a huge number. Est parvus, okay. Est parvus, it's also small. Literae Romanae. Litera is first declension feminine, so this is our nominative plural. Literae Romanae. A, B, K, D. Oops, can't see the whole screen. I'm gonna skip this part. Alpha est litera Graeca, non est litera Romana. B est litera Romana. Primus, secundus, tertius, first, second, and third. These are what we call ordinal numbers, not cardinal numbers. Ordinal numbers tell the order of something. Also, this is what a podium is. This is a podium. In English, people often say, like, come up to the podium, and what they really mean is a lectern, from the Latin word lego, legere, legi, lectum, to read. A podium comes from the word pod in Greek, which means foot, ped in Latin. So it's something that you stand on. So I always laugh when people say, come up to the podium, and I'm like, hee hee hee, they're gonna stand on the lectern. No one ever does, but anyway. You know, you might see victors at the Olympic Games on one of these podia. Primus, first, secundus, second, tertius, third. Esne primus, secundus, aut tertius. Est tertius, it's third. Esne secundus, ita, yes. Qui numerus est. Esne secundus, so qui numerus est, which number is it? Esne secundus, is it the second? Minime est numerus tertius, it's the third number. Qui numerus est primus. It's the first number. So I hope that you enjoyed that first lesson. Sorry for the errors. I'm new to this, and hopefully I'll get better over time. All right, valete omnes.